Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad and Supercoach Pro. Today we are doing a round 11 Supercoach review. So scored 2404, moved down 782 spots out to 5,320 season rank. 15 trades here. You probably saw in the round preview I was actually down to 14. Made a slightly different call due to a couple of different news hearings over the media. First, going into the actual round, I was going to actually bring in Cleary. Turns out he was a sub anyway. I was going to trade him out for Dacos and then upgrade Nick Martin that is, to Bont. So that couldn't happen. Then my second option was I heard Hayes wasn't playing. Apparently he'd be laid out. I thought, what do I do here? Maybe I bring in Witts. Had a look at the Witts play. Realised I'd ruined my round 13 buy structure. So then I couldn't. So I changed my mind again. I left the E on Hayes. And I was going to go Soligo and Sinclair for two other players. I've gone blank who I was going to do it for. I think it was actually for Martin and Dacos. And then realised Soligo wouldn't make enough cash. He'd ruin my buy. And then Sinclair plays for 1 week. I knew he would score high against North Melbourne. But then I don't got him for round 12. So I looked at Doherty's break even. I thought I could probably bring in Doherty if he scores a ton after his buy, and he'll be cheaper than Sinclair anyway and probably score around the same for the rest of the season. So the amount of research you kind of do into going into the round trades, and then little things will happen during the round where you actually start thinking a little bit more deeper. It's a lot harder to do a video within like an hour of 5 p.m. to the bounce on a Friday night. Considering you just see all these media things that can completely change your side. So you'll see the one trade I did do, it's very left field. And yes, I am reading on a notepad because I had so many things I need to get out before actually getting into the side. I'll try to make this one as quick as I can. And yeah, we're starting off with the DPPs. So obviously there's a few you'll notice in your team, and Jaden Short's one of them. Robbie Newcomb, again, stuffed him up. I kept thinking of John Newcomb, is one of the DPPs as well on my side, and we'll go through another one. So as you're looking at this at the moment, if you press optimize, it will actually automatically put all the players who are not playing on the bench for your buys. I'll undo changes, go through the side, talk about their score real quick, and then go into the plans moving forward. So the big sis dog, unbelievable, did say he'd be a sneaky BC or C option and provides the goods. He has like 100% time of ground most weeks, which is nuts, or thereabouts anyway. Just racks it up back there. People were a bit worried that all these other Hawthorn defenders would take points, but he just gone nuts after an ACL. Not many players actually play as well as they did in the previous season, hence why I never went Witts, because of Ruckman with his knees. I thought that just wouldn't make sense to bring in a guy who's never averaged 100. Long story short, that's why I didn't bring in Witts from round 1. Anyway, George Hilt 118, averaging his average for the season. This guy's probably a safe bet for a captain option. You wouldn't really want it because his ceiling's not quite there. Like it's there, but it's not relevant to some of the big dogs like your Neils and your Olivers that can pump out really massive scores. But I think he's just so reliable in that midfield, and he's be close to a BNF in there at the moment. Jordan Dawson, 104. Pretty solid game from him. You take that every day of the week. And Crisp, he's a little bit handball happy some weeks, still averaging 104, scored the 97, probably deserved a little bit more, but there was a lot of points going between those two clubs in Carlton and Collingwood. 85 from short, I feel like he's a little bit ripped off, kicked 2 goals, played a lot of midfield, and his scoring's dropped off a little bit. Playing in the midfield, I actually prefer him as a halfback, taking in the kick-outs, but Lawson sort of killed the kick-out thing, so was Rioli for him. So, yeah, it is what it is. You wouldn't upgrade him, but he's definitely a keeper. 59 to Dacos. Should probably start fielding one of these guys and give him more respect. But, yeah, you look 59 for Dacos. I just need him for the buys, so that's the only reason I didn't get rid of him. and these guys just matching each other for the second week in a row now. Oliver 113, yep, pretty standard game from him. Neil was the one I missed. I thought he'd get tagged by Lockie, Aish, De Boer, or any of those guys. They always like to tag, but William Cameron's not at that club anymore, so maybe I should have just took the punt on Neil. Went McRae, 102, had like 30 touches, did bugger all, to be honest, and got 102. So pretty disappointing. Can't win them all. Last week I got the 178 out of Clary, had him as my VC and whipped it. And this week I did what people did last week, basically. So that's why I think my ranking didn't go up or down too much either side. 109 for Took. Not sure how I actually feel about this pick. He's actually really inconsistent. Last year he was actually really consistent because I remember him going 130, 140, 150 every day of the week, even Sunday twice, as they say. And 105 to Will Brodie, probably the best rookie I started on my side. And if you started him, well, yeah, that's just a good pick from the start. With Fife not being in, it was kind of a little bit of a no-brainer for mine. 114 to Cripps. Yeah, looked pretty good today. Looked better. Impressive game, actually. And 77 to Green, not so great. Has a kind of easy fixture coming up, so just going to have to hold, maybe push him to M9 at some point and upgrade around him. And DeGoey has a really good history against Carlton. Played really well today. I think it's probably one of his highest scores. He was doing this sort of scores at the start of the season, which made me want to bring him in. Plays Hawthorn this week, so that's looking juicy. I think I brought him in around this mark, about the 125 mark. And yeah, he's produced 70s and 80s for me ever since. So a bit of a failed pick for now. Hoping he turns the corner like he did last year. And yeah, McComb, decent. I keep thinking of John Newcomb again. That's why I always stumble on his name. He's got the eligibility of going forward now. So that's really handy for our buyers, I suppose. And Clark, 72, he should be seeing more of these scores because he does actually get a lot of CBAs. Carroll, useless. One passage play, you could say, lost it for him. But yeah, I don't think he's getting a game anytime soon. He'll be in the VFL for some weeks. Darcy, 141. So here's my Witts head-to-head, I guess, because Witts is owned by about 28% of competition. Darcy, not so. He's owned by 4% of teams out there. Repaid me from the 51 2 weeks ago, and he's gone back-to-back 134 and 141. So we've seen when he's not playing with Meek and he's not injured and he hasn't copped a knock or a concussion protocol or something like that, he actually scores really well. Did it last year too. So I think I jumped on 1 week too early, but you'll take it. Bruce, weird. He played a little bit of VFL. Then I saw his stats stop going up. So I'm not sure if he played just one quarter and they rested him. He might be a little bit still sick. They're just trying to get some run into his legs. But Flynn didn't play outstanding. So I have a feeling that if you held on to Bruce and your bye's looking all right, just give it one more week and see if he plays round 13 after his bye and rucks with Flynn, because if he rucks with Flynn, he still scores well. His break-even's fairly low. I was going to trade him out for Witts, but Hayes was actually named. So I was a little bit concerned he'd be laid out, but Ken Hinkley was pretty adamant that Hayes was always going to play. And his break-even's only 47, so I still wanted to juice a little bit more cash out of him. And eventually, we'll talk about why Cameron's there, because I do have a plan for this Bruce move. And it was very last minute, so I didn't put any trade comments because I wasn't sure until the actual game if I was going to do it. Dunkley, 143, impressive. I think he's a great pod VC. I think we should start looking at that option. And Parker, I thought he'd do better than that against the Richmond midfield. We've only got Dusty, who's playing more forward, and Prestia, who's probably our elite midfielder. Apart from that, I actually thought it would get torn apart in the mids. Chad Warner was winning all the clearances, really, and some of the young brigade there. And Parker sort of just went missing in batches, but still managed to scrape 116. Hindsight should have taken his score, but I actually thought that a 116 wasn't a safe score, considering a lot of people were captaining Witts against Kaczynski this week. So I wanted a big score from McRae, thinking he'd scored 137 twice last year against them, but he's just not the same. It's funny saying it's not the same. He's still averaging 120. But yeah, is what it is there. And Cameron I brought in as a bit of a cash maker. He helps my bias. That was a big reason. He's going to go up another 26k, so he'll be about 496 if he scores 114, which is a big ask. But I think he is a solid pick because the plan here is at some point when Hayes is about at his break even, he's just reset it, so he could probably play around 13. So it's 49 now. I think it was about that last week anyway, but I still want just a little bit of cash. He'll be up against Nank and Soldo in a fortnight's time. Soldo is a better tap ruckman, but Nank isn't a great tap ruckman, so I think he'll get a bit of points out of that game. So he should do all right against them, I think, anyway. And the plan is, I'll move Cameron to R3, and for however long Bruce isn't named, which can't be too far away, I'll just play Cameron there instead after the buys until Bruce does, and then he'll just be my forward ruck swing, a really handy one for now. And then when Brody Grundy does come back, I'll just sell him at like 530k or whatever he's at that point, even sideways into some primo if I can. And Butters 104, if you held on to him, I think that was great too. Like he's turned up the last 3 weeks, so you're probably kicking yourself if you got rid of him. A lot of people did do the pod move and go from him to Cameron, but I just wanted both. Held the faith in 104, 118, 104. So pretty silly if you did get rid of him. Most of the 50s in his scoring was, if you actually watched the games, was for injury reasons, gastro, whatever he had. Only one of those 60s were actually relevant to his performance. So, just don't go jumping on off primos unless they're actually injured. And same with Hewitt, like a lot of people jumped off him. And I think it was like a calf or something like that. And he only missed a week. I'm not, saying I never do it because I jumped off Cripps for a hammy awareness that actually was that, and I actually thought it'd be like a 3 to 4 week hamstring. So, you all stuff up somewhere, but it's more than likely you just may as well upgrade around your primos instead, unless it was English. I think getting rid of English was the right call at the time. If you brought him in this week, even better for you, because you didn't have to hold for a month. Heaney, we're going to upgrade around him too. Same with the Goey. I don't even really want to speak about Heaney. He just went missing. I'm not sure if Grimes was playing on him or someone like that. I was pretty chilled watching this game, but just didn't see much of him at all. And Canelio, I think he was a good hold too. Look at the score, I think 85 is not great, Brad, whatever, but I think he's still a handy player. He's still playing midfield minutes. He had like 40 in the first quarter. And then sort of, I don't know if he got tagged or just went missing completely, but look, for a guy that you started at 261k with, you can't really be asking for more than 80s. And he's gone below that 1, 2, 3 times for the season out of 11 games. So I'm not fussed about this pick at all. I think he'll be thereabouts in the forward line for the rest of the season anyway. Probably want to bring in Basilenka, English, and Bont. That's about it for me. And we can do that anyway. We'll just make sure these guys are depth cover if there is a 1 or 2 week injury. Roses, this is another reason why you don't cut rookies too early sometimes. Like he had an 18, still played the week after, and he's gone up, not a lot, but he's reset his break even after a couple 50s and 60 games, and now plays North Melbourne with a break even of 20. So, I think sometimes you just got to hold your primos, hold your rookies, and until they're juiced out. You look at the break evens here. They've still got a game in them. Trade them at the round 13 buys. There's no point culling them now. Get them on your field for this week, and then get rid of them the week after. That's how you do it, and don't be pressing trade assist. It always comes up with stupid moves. Just press optimize to bring on the players that have their buy here. Don't even worry about emergencies either. I don't think it will even matter if you do or don't take them off. It just doesn't make sense why it even does double players. But yeah, this is a pretty simple one. So let's say, for an example, we go, we'll go VC McRae, just for the sake of it. If McRae goes off, all you do is captain a player with their buyers, and that will count as the last game, is how it works, from what I remember anyway. If I am wrong, let me know in the comments. Also, do let me know how you guys scored this week, if you went massive. Would love to know. If you got any trade plans, let me know. My opinion, I think you probably shouldn't trade, because whoever you're trading in this week is still going to miss a week over the next couple of weeks. So unless you can't field 18, that's the only reason why you would trade. If you got 16 or 17 players and you need to bring in 2 players. So have a look at your structure and just do it that way. So for round 13, this is where I need to sort of bring in players, because I'll be missing 1 player here. Carroll's probably not getting a game, so I'll probably miss 2 players here. I'll miss 2 players there too. So I probably need to bring in 1 or 2 players from round 13, hence why I couldn't actually bring in Witts, because then I'd have another non-playing player, and hence why I couldn't bring in Saligo, because I'd have to trade like 3 in that 1 week. So that was the reason why I didn't do any of those trades, and the reason why I actually bring in what's his name, Proust, was to be an R3 when. So the reason why I brought in Cameron is to trade him out for Hayes and have these guys as R2 and R3 at any given week. A little bit of an expensive move. And the other thing was, I didn't want to go down to 15 trades or below until round 13. So the plan is not trading this week, having 20 players. The lowest 2 won't make the cut, so I should have a pretty high score in comparison to some teams, potentially. And then the plan is to move 3 on in round 13. So to give you an idea, it'd be something like McCartan, DeConning, and Robbie McComb. I get it wrong every time. Never want to meet that guy because I won't know what to say. I'm like, oh, you're John Newcomb, aren't you? So I'd move on those 3 for maybe, it's 2 rookies that I think will play a couple games throughout the year, like a Weir, Owens, and then upgrade the 3rd player. And then same with round 14, similar sort of thing. Hypothetically, you cut Carroll because he's just a waste anyway for a rookie that's playing. Who else do I got that's not playing? Dacos goes that round. And probably Hayes then. I don't know. Anyway, that's the thought. So I wanted to use 6 trades in round 13 and 14, and then go down to 9 trades with eight rounds to go is what the plan is. Because last year I gassed out of trades real early and got a couple injuries and all sorts of things. I just want to be on the safe side this year. I don't really want to go under 8 is the plan for the bias. Because we all know how you can actually catch up on the back end of the season. So it's still a marathon. We're only halfway through or not even. We might just be over the mark now. So it still is a long way to go. And if you're under 12 trades at this point, you're probably really cutting it fine over the buyers, because at this point you want to make sure you've got majority of your players playing. Unfortunately, I won't have Carroll or Hamilton. Hamilton didn't play in the VFL either. So yeah, bench was looking alright. Now it's looking a little bit scarce. If another one of these rookies get dropped, I'm in a little bit of trouble over the buyers. So hopefully that's enough explaining. Let me know how you guys did. If you got any trade plans, let me know in the comments below. And I'll catch you on the round 12 preview Thursday or Friday. See how we go. Have a good week.